Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. And tonight we're playing the Battle of North Point. I live in Nottingham, Maryland. And believe it or not, this battlefield's probably 5 miles from my house. I have made videos of this battlefield on my history channel. Now, something important to say before we start our game. War of 1812 by Bill Molyneux contains 40 scenarios, separate maps, the whole works, at Blue Panther Printing for $55. I mean, you're talking $1.40 a battle. Great game, sold at Fort McHenry, which I am very proud of. And the next thing is Goober the Traveling Bear. As you watch this video, you are actually making a donation to Toys for Tots. That's right. Everything from now until November 1st, I'll give the check to people that fall in for Toys for Tots, the War Game Convention, that Saturday. I'm hoping to raise a couple $100. Last month we raised $115 for the CSS Noose. The month before we raised $320 for the Gettysburg Foundation. So, and I always post on my Facebook site when I make these donations, not to brag, but more so you know that I'm actually giving the money to these historic sites. And I felt this was so important, I put my glasses on, or off. Now I'm going to put them on so I can see what the heck I'm doing. So we're going to be just playing. I'm going to give you a feeling of the battlefield, show you what's up. Okay, everyone, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're using Donald Featherstone beer and pretzel rules. Figures move 12 inches. The light infantry moves 15. Our cavalry move 18 or 24 if they can charge. Our famous 5th Maryland is up there. All right, so we have our roughly 5 regiments for the Americans. They do have some dragoons. Let's take a look at our British forces. Okay, we have 4 elite regiments, 3 bases per unit. We have a field gun. And there he is, the British officer. Now, if he gets zapped, it will affect the morale of the British just like it did in the actual battle. Now, on the far side, we have another field gun. And then we have our light infantry with a Jason Salke figure in there. And what's going to be extra cool is we're giving them an extra die roll. Any ones will get rolled again. Goober the Traveling Bear and my board game are going to get removed from the battlefield. And we'll get serious about wargaming in 54 millimeter for the Battle of North Point, September 12th, 1814. And hopefully I'll raise some money for Toys for Tots with this video. All right, here we go, everyone. We're going to roll initiative, and we have the Americans get to go first. So, here we go. I'm going to keep this unit here, and I got to see what you see in the darn video. We pretty much see the whole battlefield. Okay, so I'm going to send this unit here, and we're going to go to about there. And we have an officer on this flank. And then this unit's going to just plop up here. And if you're wondering, these guys are losing 2 inches through this. It's a light woods. Using the Johnny or Fire and Fury 15 millimeter order of battle. And then my cavalry, I'm going to leave the way they are. And then here at the bridge. 18 inches in column, and they will get, first I'm going to move, I don't know, there's a field gun out there. They will trash my line, but it has to be done. And we'll put them there. And then I'll keep this far unit here on the flank as a reserve. And my one gun that's shrouded by a tree, which I guess we'll move a couple of these just so you can see what's going on. This one gun's going to pivot for free to do counter battery fire for what it might be worth. I'm also trying out a new microphone, and I'm going to side slip this unit over. So my Americans have moved everything but my dragoons, and I don't want to send them out. They'll get chopped up before they ever get to that cannon. So I'm going to have them trot and put them in the cover of these trees on the road. Okay, now Kevin, Colonel Handsome, I'm sure you would have some comments to say because I did not charge with the cavalry. I'm going to go ahead and move my British troops. I'm going to move the camera for you. Well, first of all, since I'm on this side of the line, I'm going to send the light infantry out. They're not losing anything in these light woods in movement. So they're going to just zip along at 15. Jason Skelke of the Chosen Men is in here. And this unit's four bases large also, but they're in skirmish order of 3s. Okay, my gun is going to prolong for 6 and still be able to fire. And then I'm going to move my entire British brigade up. So, all right, the British brigade is coming forward. We're going to advance them. And they are moving 12. If I move the gun 12, it can't fire. I'll move it 6. And sort of going to mask my gun. But you know what? We will worry about the gun later. But we will take our general. And, I'm sorry, everyone. But I have forgotten his name. And I apologize. And I'll tell you, the War of 1812, I've never wargamed it in 54 before. And these figures I got from Mike Priest, the famous author and historian of Gettysburg and Antietam. And I've also interviewed him, and he's a very nice gentleman. And he wore games in 54. And I purchased these from him. And yes, I moved that. Now, in the Johnny Reb book, it says there should be a knoll here to place your artillery. So, you know what we're going to do? We're stopping the camera. Okay, everyone. I love doing that because I'm the only one in the basement. I can't listen to anyone cry that was unfair. And Mike Kennedy, the chuckleheads, I can hear Colonel Handsome and Walt and Derek all freaking out about that move. There is another thing I forgot to put on the battlefield was the dragoons. but I got them on the field. But the picture shoots, I forgot to add them. And our British have moved. So I'm going to pause the camera and look at firing. So, okay, everyone, this is all simultaneous. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and roll dice and come back to you, but the first round here, I'm going to go ahead and roll dice. Okay, and we'll do 2, 4. So we're going to have our British will fire. It's simultaneous, okay? So this unit of 12 is going to fire. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I'm short a die. All right. And I got markers. All right, we're firing. And we're only going to do this one firing one time. Then I'll resolve it and come back to you so you don't get bored. But this unit is at 12 inches, which means I need 4, 5, or 6s. And then I have a wall. So now it's a 5 or a 6. So I need 5 or 6s. And we're going to aim for the infantry. And we got 3 possible hits. They save on a 5 or a 6. So we lost 2 men. But we do not take a morale check until we lose a base. So we put my little doohiggers there for 2 losses. And we'll go ahead and fire here. And we're going to fire, I think. Okay, so they are not at close range. They again will need 5 or 6s, and I lost a die. We're firing here. And 1, 2, we got 4 hits. And becomes 3. So I didn't really declare what I was hitting. We have a leader to check for. And there's 1, 6, a 10. So our leader is fine. So I gone for the gunners. So the gun got hit. Okay, everyone? And our leader is fine. And for the other round, he's still fine. Okay, so we lost two of our 3 gunners. He saved 1, 2. We got, we're going to have the artillery. I got to check the range. And that's over 24. So they get 3 dice. And they need, with a wall, they need 6s. And they got 1 hit. 5 or 6 to save. So they've lost another. They lost another figure from the artillery on the hill, which magically appeared. Okay, we will next fire over at the Americans are going to fire. And let's see if we're under 12 for this. We are. So they're hitting on 4, 5, or 6s. 2 hits. 5 or 6s for saves. So this unit's taken 2 hits. Look at that. All right, and then I have my regiment here. It's going to fire at the same unit. And they need 5 or 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. And 5 or 6s to save. They lost a base. Okay. And they lost a base. So we have our first British losses with a morale check. In our other gun, the one that's pretty much gone now, 3, 4, 5, or 6, 1 hit, 5 or 6 to save. So that unit here takes a loss. Okay, everyone. Now, this firing will take a while. I don't want you all to get bored. We will finish the firing on the other side, but from the rest of this video, I will pause and do firing and then resolve it. Okay, we're going to have our field gun fire. And believe it or not, I have like 1,000 dice out here on the wrong side of the table. I've done that before. I appreciate all of you that are watching. We're going to fire the field gun. Maximum range, I know that. It's, see if I am under 48. Let's do that. Are we under 48? If we're under 48, which we are, and my ruler's taking out half the table, and we need 3 6s. We need 6s for a hit. And we rolled 1 6 and a saving throw of a 5 or a 6. They saved. So the gun fired, did well. And I haven't placed smoke on the field. I might do that. I know Walt likes doing that. It does enhance the battle. So our gun fired. Now our chosen men, they're gonna fire 6 dice at this unit, 6 of that, and it is not. The light woods are not interfering with shooting. They just are messing up movement by 2 inches. So, and these guys hit on 4, 5, or 6. They got 3 hits here. And they took 2 hits. Okay. So, the other group, these guys, 5 or 6, and we re-roll any one because that's Jason Skelky of Sharp's Rifles, which we have pictures on our walls. So we have a special rule with the rifles. On a roll of 1-1 during the game, he gets to fire, and we scored 2 hits actually. Okay, now our Americans are going to fire back, and we're going to do fire here, and we got 2 hits so far, and we'll roll again. 4 hits. They are in skirmish order, and we're going to go with 4, 5, or 6s. They've all saved. And over here, we've got 1 hit, and a total of 3 hits. They're in open order, and we killed 1. And let's see if we roll boxcars. It's Jason, and Jason's still alive. All right. Wow. That completes the first turn of the Battle of North Point. Okay, everyone, welcome back. I had to check my Donald Featherstone rule sheet, and I did mess up. I apologize, but so we do need to check morale. For some reason, I was thinking we didn't have to until they lost a base, but that's incorrect. Any unit that took casualties has to roll, and our British go first, but first thing happens is morale checks. They are elite. They need to roll anything but a 3. They need to roll 3 or higher, which they did. And they would lose 1 per stand. I'm going to simply get these guys out of the way. We got a leader. They got to roll. They are 8s or higher, and we rolled a 7, but the leader gives them an 8, so they're fine. That's an 8. I rolled an 8, so the morale checks are good. I'm going to take you over the other side of the table. Well, everyone, I actually did a lot of morale checks thinking the camera was on, and I screwed up and I didn't turn it back on. So I'm going to just do a quick recap. Our British unit here that needed to roll a 6 or better fell back. They passed their morale check of a 5 or higher. And then down here, our 5th Maryland, our Baltimore Regiment, the one that really is the hero of this battle, they barely made it. If it wasn't for their leader, they needed to roll a 6 or higher. They rolled a 5, and the leader gave them a 6. So our one cannon is down to one figure, but it held on a 1 or a 2. And the British get to move first. And I'm going to stop the camera here. Welcome back, everyone. Everyone have moved. The British unit here lost 3 inches to pass through them. I'll have to look up our general's name here when I get a glass of water and a bottle of water. Our British have moved up. They were not close enough to charge. We're going to have a huge firefight at the wall. Our Americans here have moved from here, and they're coming across the bridge. I left the dragoons where they were. Okay. And I'm going to move the camera to the other side and show you what's going on over there. Over here, my light infantry moved up a little bit. They have good range in these light woods, but they don't fight good in hand-to-hand combat. So I didn't want to put them up there too close. And I know this infantry here can only move 9. So they're not within melee range. As far as my gun, over here on the British side, I did not bother prolonging it this turn. It wouldn't help moving it 6 inches, and I don't want to get it too close to the infantry. All right. Well, everyone has moved. I'm going to go ahead and resolve the firing here, and I'll come back to you. Hello, everyone. Well, this is what's happened here. First of all, our leader here has to roll for boxcars. He's not dead. So I rolled everything. This unit lost 4 figures. So there we go. We lost a base. They have a morale check. Our leader did not die. The rifles did very well. They also caused casualties here for 3. However, between both regiments, they scored a couple more hits, even with their saving throw. So the rifles have lost a base. Okay, so I hope the new mic is working. Anyhow, that's where we're at on this flank. I am going to fire my artillery piece from there to that infantry. Hopefully you can see what the heck I'm shooting at. We're firing here. I need 6s, and we didn't score any. All right, so long-range cannonballs with that gun has been useless. All right, let's go over the other side. Okay, everyone, I'm going to resolve the firing, just like I did on the other flank, so you don't have to watch all this. Okay, welcome back. British here took 3 casualties from our gunners. They fired here. I'm going to remove figures now so you can see me. 1, 2, 3, 4. That kills that base. And I'm going to send them over here. So our 5th Maryland, 1, 2. This British unit did lose a couple figures also. And that's where I'm at. So we have that unit coming in for reserve. And sometime I want to unleash. I don't know if I should be wild and try a flank with that unit and have my dragoons charge that gun to cover my flank. We will see. We're going to go ahead and do morale checks. And for this, I think I'll let the camera go. So this is a 5 becomes a 6 or higher, 5 or higher. And I rolled snake eyes. What in the world? So that unit rolled snake eyes. Well, that's right. So they're running another 12. They ignored terrain, so they're on this side. In the movement phase, I'll decide what to do with him. They're a 5 to pass. They're fine. This unit, yeah, they took 1, 2, 3. They only have 3 losses, so they're still at a 5. And they rolled a 9. They are fine. So now this is going to be bad. They are the 6 or 7, 2, 7, 8, 9, back down with a leader, and they rolled a 4. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't move the camera. We got a big hole in the line. Our 3 gunners are going to be bumming out. So that was our morale checks, and my idea isn't so good. If the British win this initiative, it's going to be bleak. Let's see what happens. Let me find a red and a blue die. There we go. Normally I had my Peter dice, but I have them packed up for the War Game Convention. We rolled a 1 for the Americans, 3 for the British. The British are coming in with bayonets. Those gunners are going to be dead. Okay. I'll pause the camera here and move the British. All right, I've moved the camera angle, everyone, to the center. And the Americans, I shored up this line a little bit. Our gun is way over here in the corner being overrun. And now Kevin, Colonel Handsome, I've moved my dragoons out. And over on the far right flank, I'll move our camera. Okay, our right flank, this unit here failed its morale check. The other one did fine. We have an issue with our, right now the light infantry are duking it out with our, how they're average, sort of poor. In a firefight, they're going to lose this probably. And of course, we have decided to send out the dragoons. Now I'm going to go ahead and resolve the firing and come back to you, so this video won't be 2 hours long, because I want to keep you watching, because the longer you watch, the more money I make that I can donate for Toys for Tots. All right, well, I had one heck of a lot of shooting. It took 20 minutes, and anyhow, they need a morale marker. They don't have one. We're going to resolve some of our morale issues that are going on. All the firing happened. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've lost a base, and there they are a 7, goes up to the 8, and 3 and 3 is 6. They are going to fall back 12 inches. So the line is crumbling, and all my tape measures have moved again. I got tape measures all over. All right. So, Jason has not died. I have to see if they pass the morale check. Yep. Anything but a 4. They had to roll 4 or higher. And Jason is fine. Jason's the chosen men in this unit is still alive. So that unit is cleared off the hill. Now I will resolve the morale on our, believe it or not, they got to roll a 9 or higher. That's from Thrown Together Militia, and they rolled a 7. So I'll pause the camera for this. They are basically heading back to. Let's see here. Our cavalry have gone back 24. The dragoons, the whole line on that side is falling apart. Jason is still alive over there with the chosen men. I could have had a video hiccup, and I apologize for that. But we'll see where I'm at when I go through the edits. So over here, I have to resolve this side of combat and do morale checks. No, we got them all done. The gun crew here is eliminated. They are overrun. I forgot. Yes, we're good there. We lost the base. And then the British morale, they rolled a 5. They have no leader. They're going to fall back. Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. This unit has to go back 12. So they took some casualties. The gun crew's gone. I'm going to check morale there. And they're a 6. They're fine. Let me see if you can see what I just checked on morale. They're fine. Okay, so this is where I'm at here for the British. Their morale is good. For those 2 units, one is down a base. They're okay. Now our Americans. I need to see if that leader out there is killed. No. And I'm going to check him twice because they took a couple volleys. He is fine. I'm going to check morale here. All right, what's left of the 5th Maryland is running for Baltimore. Okay, and then we have this one, and I rolled a 4. Even with the leader doesn't help. So they're now running. And I'll send the leader. This unit here has just got pummeled. I didn't even take up all the markers. So that's one whole base. Those 2, 3, 4, yeah. So they lost a whole base. There's their morale marker. 7. They got to roll an 8 or higher. 8 or higher. Let's see what happens. And they made it. They rolled just, yeah, they made it. So, okay. Not good. We're going to pause the camera here. And I think this will be our final turn if I don't rally some stuff. Hi, everyone. I'm turning the camera back on as I do these morale checks. The reason is the British even rallied that back unit that's been way against the wall by that cannon. Let's see if I can get it in closer. That unit there rallied. Our British have held and rallied all along the line with their 5-6 morale power. Our Americans are falling apart. I have those units running, and I now have to roll for the Dragoons and my other 2 line units. And the Dragoons are gone. The morale checks for the Americans are killing me. So the Dragoons are going down the road. Okay, so the difference in morale of the 5-6 for the veterans, and then the 7s for the 7-8s for the most of the Americans. The 5th Maryland, of course, was a 6. And so this unit here has passed. Oh, and this, so I have one unit here that passed. And then this unit here, they have failed, so they're heading back to Baltimore. I have to see if you can even see that. And we'll put our leader here. So, point-wise, the army is falling apart. I'm going to move my camera. Now, Battle of North Point was a delaying action. Some say it's a British victory, of course, because they did win and take the field, but they did not do well to keep going. Plus, their overall leader was killed and the morale dropped, which if mine dies, the morale drops too. They go down a whole level. So at this point, I think we're going to call this, I got to check my scenario notes. I think they have to go one more turn. Well, it turns out, everyone, that this is a 6-turn game, and the objective is to get a British unit across this bridge or within 12 inches of that road. They're both ways out to Baltimore. So, and I actually have a British unit right there on the final turn. So right now, if the British were to win initiative, they would probably be fighting their way across the bridge. If the Americans win initiative, they could block it, and then the British would have to fight their way across. And instead of me jabbering, let's just see who's going to get initiative. It's a 3-3, 6-1. Americans have initiative. You know what? Let's see what happens. Rallying, and they don't rally. This unit here rallied. So, can you see this unit? I don't think you can. Hold on, everyone. I will get that fixed momentarily. I'm not with the Chuckleheads. By the way, September 14th, we will be doing another Chucklehead game. So, down here at the bottom, I apologize. That unit rallied and took cover behind the stone wall. And then this unit here is going to try to save the day. And plenty of movement because we're using Donald Featherstone's simple rules. So if you're out there cringing over that move, please just understand that in Bill's Basement, we are playing for fun with 54s and not necessarily trying to be perfect. And you know what? At my age and my health issues with my wife and life in general, life is very short, and they're only toy soldiers. Okay, my Dragoons are going. The other light units or American units going. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and move the British. I'm going to pause my camera. And gosh darn it, I got 4 tape measures on this table and some rulers, and they're all at the other end. Okay, I got a tape measure. So losing 2 inches over this wall. This unit can't get into melee. Just can't do it. This unit's going to go in, and this unit's going to get across here. And Mr. John Priest, if you're watching this, Mike Priest, famous author and historian, come to think of it, I have not finished your Gettysburg book, and I'm working on it. But I have too many irons in the fire. I am only 12 pages into it on the first day of Gettysburg. And there we go. All right, everything hinges on this. I moved everything. And the light infantry on the far side with Jason, they could move up to the knoll. They would move 12 inches in this, even though it's light woods, they don't get the covered issue. I'm not moving the guns up. And we'll say the cannons are firing some shells at the retreating Americans. But to see if the Americans have held the day, even though they're losing. If the Americans here win the melee, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they need 5 or 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 4 kills, and the British have 7 dice, and they hit on 4, 5, or 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. They both have a tie, so they're fighting it out. They're fighting it out, everybody. So we're gonna finish this off. Americans have 4 with 5 or 6s, and the British, they both lost a figure each. And here we go. We're just gonna duke it out with the last 2. The British don't score any hits, and Americans have 1, 2, 3. I get 1 more die. They got 1, 2, and the British are gone. And so now, so the American army is running back to Baltimore. The Dragoons did nothing, and we have 1 unit that held long enough at the bridge to give time for the American army to retreat off the table or back to Baltimore. So let's do a quick recap. All right, for Bill's quick recap, we were going to say this is American victory, and because if the British had crossed the bridge and won that melee, they would have won. And I think I should have went at the bayonet sooner with a +1 in hand-to-hand combat. The British still have 1, 2, 3. They have four units left with 2 of them at 3 bases and 2 at 2. So they definitely are. Plus, they also have the light infantry. In hindsight, the Americans lost quite a bit more figures and bases, and also their morale was shot. All right. Well, like always, I'm going to say my standard: stay safe, be kind, be courteous. Thank you for watching. Please remember all the videos on my channel, if you watch them, Bill's History World and Bill's Wargame World, it's helping Toys for Tots from now all the way up to November 2nd. November 1st, officially, I'll turn it off and go on to my next charity. Thank you again for watching. And this was a lot of fun.